Female hormones and how to work out to them. This video was specifically requested by one of my patients, so this is the breakdown. Week 1, that's your active bleed week. You want to take it easier. You want to keep the motion up. You want to keep your body moving, but keep the intensity down. For the average human being, you want to keep your heart rate below about 135. You want to make sure that that movement is there, but you don't want to jack up that heart rate. You don't want to go high intensity because you need cortisol to not get too high. You need your progesterone. You need your body to stay calm while you're working out. Now, week 2 is that post-bleed week right into ovulation. That's your most intense week. You can go after it. You can be heavy lifting, heavy intensity. That's the week you're going to feel awesome. Once you ovulate, that's entering week 3. In that post-ovulatory week, you want to take it easier. You need progesterone to climb, and the higher the progesterone climbs, the better your period is going to be. However, if you're doing something high intensity, that will deplete your cortisol, which then means you need to drive up production of cortisol, which gets stolen from progesterone. It's called the cortisol steal. I'll post a picture of how the hormones go here. Now, the thing about cortisol from progesterone is you need that progesterone post-ovulation because your body's getting ready to get pregnant. If it doesn't, that fourth week is basically a crapshoot. It could be a really good week. You could feel awesome. You could be energetic. Or you might need to take it a little bit easier like you did in weeks 1 and 3. Week 3 is very similar to week 1 because you want to keep that intensity down. Week 4 can be that way, or it could be like that week 2 where you're ramping up that production. Now, speaking of cortisol, how does that relate to fasting? Good question. Fasting to me is anything north of 24 hours. Anything below that isn't really a full, true fasted state. However, you don't want to fast that long if you're a female. If you're a male, go for it. Your hormones aren't dependent on that, and you're not dependent on progesterone. For a female, if you're fasting longer than 24 hours, there better be a very good reason for it. However, if you're going to do a intermittent fast, so 12, 16-ish hour fasts, that's perfectly okay. You might get hungry in the interim. Week 2 is going to be the best weeks to do that. Week 4 can be, if you had a solid week 1 through 3, you can also fast in that 16-hour interval, week 4. Weeks 1 and 3, you don't want to fast. The more you fast, you're going to drive up that cortisol because cortisol will make blood sugar. You need blood sugar. If you eat, you don't need to use cortisol to do it. If you don't eat, you're going to use cortisol to make that blood sugar so your body stays energetic. Now, again, back to that cortisol steal. You use cortisol from progesterone. You don't want to do that. You want to keep your progesterone where it is. You don't want to suck it down into cortisol because, again, that's where a lot of problems occur. And if you're sucking all that into progesterone, you're going to have a massive imbalance of your estrogen to progesterone ratio, and that can cause a whole host of issues as well.